welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Liz, and today we are talking about Ratatouille, the TikTok musical. So I will preface all of this with saying that for the majority of quarantine, I was strongly opposed to downloading TikTok because everything that I'd heard was that it was super addictive, and once you got on TikTok, you would not get off of TikTok. By like September, I just went ahead and downloaded it anyways because why not? And I have to say, everything I heard was entirely true. This is the most addicting app I have ever had, ever. It's just an endless scroll. On Instagram, there's like other stuff to do, there's other things to look at, but on TikTok, you can just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll for hours, and I do. It's horrible and highly entertaining at the same time. So if you have somehow managed to like avoid the just sheer infinite amount of random funny content that is TikTok, good for you. But I will go over a little bit of how this whole thing got started because it's odd and kind of confusing, but also like super impressive. So basically, back in like the early quarantine days when everyone was just real bored, not to say that we're not bored now, but like really beginning to just start feel the boredom, a bunch of TikTok creators started to make these parodies of the classic animated film Ratatouille. Now I love Ratatouille. I watched it a ton growing up. It was one of my favorite movies. It's about food and small mammals that are adorable, so what's not to like? But basically, what started out as like a light joke of people just thinking of some songs that would theoretically go with the Ratatouille movie should it become a musical, suddenly became like a full-fledged TikTok effort to create everything you need for like an actual theatrical production. People were thinking of sets, songs, choreography, costumes, casting. Like, let me tell you about this casting, my gosh. Amazing. Things that people came up with were like really funny, but also really good. I don't know why they were so good. Flash forward through all of these months of a bunch of creators making all of this content about a fictional musical. They decided that, you know what, why not? Let's just make it a real thing. Obviously, they could not do a full-fledged, like, in-person Broadway production of this thing because COVID, but they could totally do a virtual, like, Zoom reading compilation style musical thing, which is exactly what they did. Honestly, after the past year that we've had with no theater and being a theater person and an arts person and all of that fun stuff that just can't happen in COVID, which is very frustrating, I will take any theater that I can get. And I think anything that just gets people excited about theater nowadays is a win. Even though this started on TikTok, not the most conventional form of, you know, making a full-fledged musical, I think they did a really good job, and I'm honestly really excited about how it turned out. They were like, you know what? If we're gonna make a TikTok musical, we're gonna make a TikTok musical. So they got crazy people to do this. They did this the right way. First of all, they got Lucy Moss to direct this, who is the co-creator and co-director of Six, the musical. Fantastic. Next, they had all proceeds go to the Actors Fund. You could pay anywhere from $5 to $100 to stream this event. Obviously, it's not a like in-person thing, so even though you might pay like $100 or most likely more, definitely more, to go see like a Broadway show, I did think it was nice that they included that kind of scale because you have people who are random people from TikTok who are like curious about this, which I would assume is like the majority of the people watching this. They are not going to want to spend $100, $50, anything like that on this streaming. So having a $5 option is a really great way to like entice the masses to come. But at the same time, if you have people who really want to donate to the Actors Fund and are maybe a little bit more accustomed to spending that much money on a normal Broadway ticket, they had that opportunity to donate a larger amount. They also got the Broadway Sinfonietta Orchestra to play for this show, which if you don't know who they are a 20-person, all-female, mostly women of color orchestra, which is so great, and I think they did an amazing job. And they also had 12 full songs for this musical, which were a combination of the TikTok creators' like original work and just new orchestrations for this show. So they really went all out. They did not like skimp anywhere, which I was really impressed with and glad that they did because, like I said, after so many months of having like no theater at all, I think it would have been kind of disappointing if they just totally like amped up the cheesiness, no pun intended, but they really did this right. On that note, the casting, my gosh. For anybody who's just been missing Broadway, this was like the dream team. First off, we have Titus Burgess as Remy. Fantastic. If you don't know who he is, you might recognize him from The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix or The Little Mermaid, Guys and Dolls, Jersey Boys, like everything. He is such a just joyful, wonderful person to watch, and I honestly think he's one of the most like underrated actors. Like he needs to be in more things. I know he's in a lot, but like he needs to be in more things because he's just fantastic. He did such a great job as Remy. He captured all of the wonderful, joyful, like sassy elements of Remy, and my gosh, perfect casting. Next, we have Andrew Barth Feldman as Linguini. Can I just say, I love this man. I followed him on everything from like before he won the Jimmy Awards, which if you don't know what the Jimmy Awards are, they're like this national like musical theater awards competition thingy, and basically if you win, you're like going to be famous. They've had crazy people come out of that. So he is really best known for his work in Dear Evan Hansen, which he started at like 16, which is just insane. But oh my gosh, he is just the human version of the animated character. He is Linguini. I could not have picked anyone better for that. He had all of the like adorable, awkward dorkiness of Linguini and also looked exactly like him. It's the same guy. Next for Colette, we have Ashley Park, who is one of my favorite actresses. I love her. I think she is just so talented. She's done a ton of theater work, but is probably most known for originating the role of Gretchen in Mean Girls and for her recent work on the show Emily in Paris. I thought she did a phenomenal job. She's such a talented actress and I feel like is so versatile, and I just want to see her in like more things. I thought she really captured the like sophistication and just overall sassy elegance of Colette from the animated movie. She's also just stunning. Like her skin is perfect and I'm just like, why are you so pretty? Next up, we have Mary Testa as Chef Skinner. Now, let me tell you, she was not the first person that I would have like thought of to play this role, but my gosh, did she do an amazing job. Her facial expressions were like to a T the animated movie. Fantastic. She brought such a like spunk and just wonderful comedic flair to this part. If you don't know who she is, she's done a ton of theater work, like a ton, but is probably most known for her work in the recent revival of Oklahoma, which is also one of my favorite things. I love it. I thought she did so good and was just a wonderful addition to the show. Next, the casting that I am so freaking excited about. The most perfect casting. Kevin Chamberlain as Chef Gusteau. My gosh, this man is him. Like, okay, I know I said Andrew Barth Feldman was like Linguini in person, but like this man literally is Gusteau. I love him. Again, such a joyful, just happy to watch actor. He's amazing. He's so talented. He's been in like everything. He's done a ton of theater work like Seussical, Dirty Blonde, Addams Family, but he's also really known for his work on Disney Channel in the Jessie series and in a ton of movies and in the new Prom adaptation, which is on Netflix, and if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. It's thebomb.com. I thought he did such a wonderful job and just had that wonderful, like, lovable energy of Gusteau from the animated movies. The next person on this cast list, which was probably the only one that I was like slightly like about, was Adam Lambert as Emile. Now, I love Adam Lambert. I think he is so talented. If you don't know who he is, he was the runner-up on the 8th season of American Idol and has since released a bunch of really successful albums, and since 2011 has been working with the band Queen. So he is like very successful. He's very talented. He's got killer style. The man's eyebrows are also just like amazing. Like I aspire to have that quality of eyebrows. But as talented as Adam Lambert is, I just thought he was kind of an odd fit for that role and for the show itself. If you look at like the original Emile from the animated movie, he's like this like overweight, chunky, kind of reminds me of like an Olaf, joyful, lovable, like sidekick character. I understand they're like going with a different, more like edgy version of that character, which I find hilarious because we're still talking about rats. However, I don't know. I felt like they were just writing stuff for Adam Lambert and not for the character. Like, he had this great song, Rat's Way of Life, which honestly all the songs are bops. Like, I'm thoroughly obsessed with all of them. But it was like an Adam Lambert song in a rap musical, which is something I never thought I would say. So while I think he did a great job, I think he definitely brought a little bit something new to that original character. I don't know. I could see how people would like it. He is very talented. I think he did a great job, but it was just in my mind a little bit odd of a fit. To round out this amazing cast, we have Andre de Shields as Anton Ego. If you don't know who he is again in like everything. He's known for a bunch of different theater work, most notably The Wiz, Ain't Misbehavin', The Full Monty, and of course, Hadestown. This guy, can I just say, he got me hooked on Hadestown like immediately just from like hearing him. Obviously everyone else is fantastic, even Nobunaga. I would have just listened to like 3 hours of just him. I thought he did such a great job. I think he fit the character description like perfectly. He's got that kind of like mysterious, like kind of scary, but also like once you get to know him, he's just like lovable. And he just brought such a wonderful like star power and also just like awesomeness to this show that I think we all needed. Fantastic. So like I said, said, I think the sheer quality of people they got to work on this production was just my favorite part of seeing this come together overall. Moving on to the way that they actually did this. So I really think they did a great job of kind of blending a lot of different ways that we normally use like Zoom readings now, and also the style that TikTok uses to make a very engaging and dynamic production that didn't feel too weird online, if that makes sense. I think a lot of times when I've seen like Zoom readings and stuff, like it's just that, it's a reading. It's not like a full-fledged production. So you don't really need to hint at like set changes or big production numbers or whatever, but they so went for it, and they had a ton of great like effects and transitions and stuff. Not that any of them were super fancy, but just stuff to like hint at like maybe a big scene change. They got really creative with having big ensemble numbers. I'll show those pictures around somewhere. They really used a variety of TikTok style and just like normal Zoom reading styles to make something that seemed cohesive and like a full show, not just like a reading. Another thing I think worked really well was that they had Remy explaining a lot of the exposition through his like monologues, because it was only like an hour long, not even an hour long, and obviously the animated movie is a little bit longer than that. It's not super long, but like still. So a lot of the parts in the original movie were just condensed into dialogue snippets by Remy, which I think worked really well, and I think that was a great fix to kind of cut down on the amount of time and cut down on a lot of like the scene changes and just like logistical problems that may have occurred if you had like 10 other scenes in the show. I also really liked that they gave pretty much all of the characters their own song. I think because this is kind of like a compilation style musical, it was really nice to not have like 10 Remy songs. Every character, every actor really got their own time to shine, and the music was so good. Like, I would so listen to this again. I thought it was really well done. Between the lyrics and the orchestrations, I think they really made some great songs, and they were a lot better quality than I anticipated. I don't know, I think my overall just general reaction to this show was that I was just so impressed and like proud of the quality of work that people were able to do in such an unconventional way. I think they really did a great job casting and getting a really good production team together to make this into something that was really honestly very enjoyable to watch and was actually something to watch. It wasn't just like little snippets of random TikToks. It was a full thing. It was a full-fledged production. Yes, we've had like online readings and stuff like that before, but never to the extent or the scale that we are in 2020 and 2021 and just moving on in the future. So I think this was a great thing for the theater community and the TikTok community and just everyone in general to see that the arts can keep going, and yeah, we might need to like rethink some things in terms of how they actually get done, but in this interim where we can't really have live shows, we can still have the arts, and it can still be fun and entertaining, and it might not be to the scale that we're used to, but it can still be a real thing. Let me know what you guys thought of Ratatouille the TikTok musical in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!